The beginning of the trip. Emily Carter pushed her suitcase into the back of Daniel's Jeep and slammed the trunk shut. Blackwood State Forest stood far beyond the horizon, a dark smear of green that, even from a distance, looked older than everything around it. The air smelled like dust, heat, and something faintly metallic. June sunlight burned the road, but the forest ahead rested under a thick layer of shadow, like sunlight didn't dare go near it. Their weekend trip had been Daniel's idea, a 3-day escape from reality, he had called it. The group? Emily, 23, the lead, smart, observant, always carrying a sense of empathy that often felt like a curse. Ava Bennett, 22, sarcastic, bold, emotional, Emily's closest friend. Sophie Clark, 24, sweet, quiet, sensitive, the scared one, but also the heart of the group. Michael Reed, 23, the athletic one, adventurous, often reckless. Daniel Hayes, 24, the planner, the calm brain among the chaos. They laughed like normal, teased like normal. But something felt off to Emily, like the forest was watching them even here on the asphalt road. "Earth to Emily," Ava said, snapping her fingers. "You okay?" Emily forced a smile. "Yeah, just tired, too much packing." "Too much overthinking," Michael corrected with a grin. Sophie gently touched Emily's arm. "If you're not feeling good about this trip—" "No, I'm fine, really." But she wasn't. Not even close. The warnings they ignored. It took almost 3 hours to reach the old ranger outpost at the edge of Blackwood Forest. The building looked abandoned, its windows clouded with dirt, its door half open. Distant wind through broken wood. A sign hung crooked on the front wall. "Enter at your own risk. Area unmaintained since 1997. "That's comforting," Ava muttered. Daniel walked up to the deck. There should have been a ranger here. Online it said the post was reopened last year. Michael kicked an empty can. Maybe he's on lunch break. Emily looked through the window. The inside of the station was untouched. Dust-covered desks, faded maps, a broken coffee machine, a radio lying sideways. And on the back wall, scratched into wood, she saw words. "Don't follow the whispers." Her breath hitched. Heartbeat slow. Before she could call the others, an old man stepped out from behind the building. He was tall and thin, his skin pale like wax, his eyes cloudy but piercing. He wore an old ranger jacket that looked at least 20 years outdated. "You people lost?" he asked, voice low and cold. Daniel shook his hand. "We're heading to Blackwood Cabin, supposed to be a hiking retreat." The old man's expression collapsed into something almost like pity. "Are you going into the Blackwood?" he asked slowly. "Yes," Sophie said. "Is something wrong?" The man hesitated, then spoke in a cracked voice. "People who enter that place, they don't come back the same." Emily tensed. Ava rolled her eyes. "Let me guess, ghost stories?" The old man stepped closer, his voice trembling. "It's older than ghosts, older than this country. The forest listens, the forest chooses, and when it whispers, whispering breeze through leaves, you must not answer it." A thick chill crawled over Emily's spine. Daniel forced a polite laugh. "We'll be careful." "You won't," the old man whispered. "No one ever is." Into the green darkness. They found the forest trail a mile deeper, the sun slowly fading behind thick canopies. Every tree was enormous, wide, towering, ancient. Moss-covered roots like wet carpets. The path narrowed between trunks as if the forest wanted to keep strangers out. Emily kept glancing around. Something was wrong with the silence. No birds, no insects, no wind. Just breathing, but not theirs. Michael walked ahead. "This is cool," like a movie set. "It's creepy," Sophie whispered. "It's nature," Daniel corrected. But it didn't feel natural to Emily. It felt alive. 2 hours later, they reached the cabin, a lonely wooden house hidden between massive oaks, darker than the rest of the forest. The cabin was old, but not ruined. Locked windows, intact roof, a porch that squeaked with age. A rusted horseshoe hung over the door. A strange symbol was carved under it, a circle with 3 vertical lines inside. "What is that?" Ava asked. "A tribal marking, maybe?" Daniel guessed. "Or a warning sign," Emily murmured. Inside, the cabin was surprisingly clean. A living room with a stone fireplace, 2 bedrooms, an attic door, and a small kitchen. Dusty, old, but livable. Sophie wrapped her arms around herself. "Guys, does anyone else feel like we're being watched?" "Yeah," Emily whispered. Ava sighed dramatically. "You two need therapy." But when night fell, even Ava stopped joking. The first night. The forest outside turned darker than ink. The cabin lights flickered from time to time. The air grew humid and heavy. They played cards, cooked pasta, laughed nervously. Daniel tried to keep the mood up, but something in the air kept shutting everyone down. At 1:17 a.m., the power died. "Seriously?" Ava groaned. Daniel checked the breaker. Everything looked normal. Michael lit 2 lanterns. "Relax, we'll survive without Wi-Fi." Emily moved to the window and looked out. The forest was motionless, dead still, like time itself was holding its breath. Then she heard it. A whisper, so soft it barely scratched the air. "Emily." Her heart stopped. Her heartbeat slow. She backed away. "Did anyone say my name?" Everyone shook their head. The whisper came again, louder, clearer, more human. "Emily." This time, Sophie heard something too. She gasped. "I heard it, from outside." Ava scoffed. "Probably an animal." "That wasn't an animal," Sophie insisted, shaking. That was a voice." Daniel grabbed a flashlight. "Okay, nobody panic. We're inside, the doors are locked. Maybe sound carries weird here." Emily felt dizzy, terrified, but something about the whisper wasn't random. It felt like it knew her. It felt like it wanted her. The stranger in the trees. At 1:46 a.m., Michael suggested checking the porch. Emily said no. Sophie begged him not to go, but Michael was stubborn. "Guys, it's just a forest. Nothing is out there." He opened the front door. Door creaks slowly. Cold air washed in, thick and damp. Michael stepped outside with his lantern. The others stayed behind him, hovering in the doorway. "What exactly are we looking for?" Ava asked. Michael shrugged. "Anything weird?" He froze. All of them froze, because between the trees, only a few feet away, something stood watching them. Emily saw it first, tall, unmoving, shaped like a man, but wrong, too long, too thin, head tilted unnaturally. It wasn't breathing, it wasn't blinking, it was just there. Sophie whimpered softly, "What is that?" Daniel tried to shine the flashlight directly at the figure. The light flickered violently, sputtering out. The figure took one slow step forward. Emily grabbed Michael's arm. "Get inside now." Michael didn't move. The figure raised an arm, a long, pale hand, and pointed directly at Emily. A whisper echoed through the trees, all directions at once. "Come." Emily staggered back, her heart punching her ribs. Michael finally snapped out of it and slammed the door shut. Sophie started crying. Ava swore repeatedly. Daniel locked the door twice. They turned off the lanterns and sat in darkness. Emily whispered, voice shaking, "That thing knew my name." The night gets worse. Nobody slept. Every hour, the cabin shook with faint tapping, sometimes scratching, sometimes breathing. The whispering came back, circling the cabin like a predator. Emily, Emily, Emily. By 4 a.m., they all felt sick, exhausted, terrified. Sophie clutched her knees. "Why is it calling you?" "I don't know," Emily whispered. Daniel pulled out the old map he found in the drawer earlier. It was hand-drawn, yellowed with age. In the corner, the same symbol, a circle with 3 vertical lines. Michael frowned. "What does it mean?" Emily touched the marking. Her fingers trembled. "I saw that symbol somewhere else." Her voice dropped. "In the ranger station, scratched on the wall." Ava blinked. "So what? It's just a symbol." "No," Emily insisted. "It means something." Sophie pointed at a faded scribble near the symbol on the map. "The listeners." Daniel exhaled. "The what?" Before anyone could guess, the whisper returned, this time right outside the front door. "Let her out." The cabin lights flickered back on by themselves. Sophie screamed. Daniel lunged toward the door and shoved a chair beneath the handle. Ava grabbed Emily's shoulders. "Why you? What did you do?" "I don't know," Emily cried. But deep inside, she felt something. A pressure, a connection, a sense of being chosen. The whispering stopped suddenly. The tapping, the scratching, everything. The silence hit like a punch. Then, a knock at the front door. Slow, deliberate, human-sounding. All 5 froze. Knock, knock, knock. Sophie was shaking violently. "Nobody open it! Nobody move!" A voice spoke from behind the door. Soft, calm, familiar. "Emily, it's me." Emily's lungs collapsed. The voice, it was her mother's. Her mother who lived 3 states away. Her mother who definitely could not be in this forest at 4:30 a.m. "Sweetheart," her mother's voice whispered, "open the door." Emily covered her ears, tears streaming down her face. "That's not her. It's not her." The voice deepened, shifted, distorted. "Let me in." Emily sobbed. Michael grabbed her and pulled her away from the door. Sophie was having a full panic attack. Ava was whispering prayers under her breath. Daniel held a hunting knife from the kitchen drawer, his hands trembling. The voice outside changed again, to a child, a crying boy, whimpering, begging. "Help me, please. It hurts. It hurts." Emily shook uncontrollably. "Make it stop. Please, make it stop." Then, silence again. A heavy, suffocating silence. They waited. Minutes felt like hours. When Emily finally looked out the window, she froze. The figure was back, right in front of the porch. But this time, it wasn't alone. Behind it, dozens of pale silhouettes stood between the trees, tall, thin, silent, watching. The forest wasn't dark anymore. It was filled with them, hundreds, and slowly, in unison, they whispered, "Emily." The mark appears. Emily stumbled backward, her breath fractured. Daniel caught her shoulders. "Emily, look at me. What's happening?" I don't know." But she did know. She felt something burning on her skin. She looked at her wrist. A symbol was forming, burning into her flesh, a circle with 3 vertical lines, the same marking from the map, the same one on the cabin. Ava gasped, "Oh my God!" Sophie covered her mouth, crying harder. Michael stepped away like he had seen something unholy. Daniel whispered, voice cracking, "Emily, why is that appearing on you?" Emily clutched her wrist, screaming from the pain. The symbol seared brighter, glowing like molten metal carved under her skin. Outside, the tall figure tilted its head farther, too far, almost snapping. The whispering turned into a low, guttural chant. She is chosen. Emily collapsed to her knees. Sophie screamed. Ava ran for water. Michael cursed loudly. Daniel tried to hold Emily still. The forest roared with whispers, hundreds of overlapping voices shaking the cabin walls. The lights exploded, glass shattered, everything went black. Emily screamed until her voice broke. The forest screamed with her.